All right, and welcome back to the Tea. I'm your host, Paul. I'm here with Angie, KD, and Dr. Mary McNeil Jones. Before we left, I teased Kanye, and we're gonna get into him now. So he's been going through some weird times. The split from Kim, his weird little rituals with the new album. His outfits have been out there, to say the least, pretty different. Angie, what do you make of this whole Kanye situation?
Well, first of all, I know that the Kardashian family is very strategic. So I think the whole divorce, breakup, split was to start a buzz. I really do. I think that they do that all the time. How many boyfriends have they split from when shows come out, all that stuff. That whole family is strategic. They're about their money. So doing a we're going to get divorced thing, because they're not anymore, is a whole nother thing. And yeah, as far as the outfits, I like the album. I think I'm gonna start with that. I think it's very inspirational. I like it. But the renting the stadium was a good thing. He should have done it once. The second time made it a little weird and gimmicky. And building a house, his childhood house in the stadium, was a little strange. Having Kim Kardashian show up in a wedding dress with her face covered was strange. The fact that she looked like the cartoon character from Spy versus Spy at the Met Gala was really weird too. The whole covering your face thing. I mean, it's very interesting. It's gonna leave a spot on everybody's memory for quite a while. But I think it's a little much for me. It's a little weird.
Sure.
It's a little strange.
Hey, with money comes stuff like that, and he was probably always like that his whole life. He just didn't have the outlet to do it, and now that he's got all this money and he's probably in France and Spain and all this stuff around all these people,
dealing with clothing designers and stuff like that.
And like just having the opportunity to build your house in a stadium, and like
live in the stadium.
With the whole album release and no and yes and no, and people have always been on Kanye West's ass, and he's just a different dude, and that's why he's who he is, so I take everything that he does with the grain of salt, and it's Kanye West, and there'll never be another one. And Lady Gaga, same type of shit almost, you know what I'm saying? She had to rat forever until people just accepted that that's her.
Do you believe that you can be crazy and smart?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
I think that goes hand. I think
Absolutely.
it goes hand in hand sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's where Kanye is. I think he's crazy, but very smart.
Yeah.
'Cause-
And coming from a doctor who understands that kind of stuff,
Well, he did an interview with Charlemagne the God on his property maybe about a year ago, and he pretty much self-confessed that he is bipolar.
Yeah.
So we
There's a
know
lot
that
of
about him.
functional
Maybe he
people like
wasn't
that.
properly medicated. Maybe he's not on his medication now. Not to say anything against mental illness or anything at all like that, but he's probably just doing his own thing and just letting his vices go and be
And
what they are.
as someone that has bipolar disorder, when he first started really going through everything, I was like, oh, he's having episodes. I was like, he's either not diagnosed or he just doesn't take the medication and he kind of just lets it. Because when I don't take medication either. I use different forms of therapy now, but like on the medication, you feel like a robot and stuff like that. I'm sure that probably inhibited like his like creativity and stuff like that.
I could see that kind of feeling with him at certain steps.
Yeah, and he probably just lets it flow, and it just he goes with it. He's like, so if my episode's taking me here, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
But he's like, at the end of the day, it's gonna lead me to greatness.
And I think that's the other stuff that people need to know about artists, instead of just being like, oh, that's Kanye, he did something crazy. Like, sometimes there is a method to someone's madness. It might not be a meticulated method, but sometimes you got to get to know people and who they are and what may make them do the things that they do before we just prejudge someone off of their actions.
Some of the most innovative, creative people are different, not the norm.
I mean, you look at like the Princes, like the David Bowies, like they dress totally
That's
gnarly.
true.
That they dress how they want to
Yeah.
dress. They just let it flow, and that's what I feel with Kanye too. Like sometimes he'll say some things that are like super off the wall, and I'm just like, ooh, we could have done without that. But like in regards to the way he did the album, his outfits and stuff like that, that's how he likes to be. Let him do his thing as long as he's not hurting anybody, saying anything,
Right.
George Bush
too
don't
wild.
like black people.
Oh man, that was.
What kind of president do you think that Kanye would be?
I think he'd be erratic because
Yeah.
he would have to take medication to run this country or pick the right people to be in the right places.
Yeah,
I
I think
wouldn't
the
trust
problem
it.
with mental illness is, especially in a situation like that, the pressure and the being overwhelmed, I think, will cause worse stuff.
And he seems like someone that runs more so off of emotion rather than thinking out something through.
Logically,
so
yeah.
you know, if
Yeah.
you're just like you see like a big
It's
situation.
like, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
like,
as much as I love him, he has the God complex to where if he don't want to listen, he's not going to listen. You know, if his cabinet is telling him we need to do this and he feels we need to do this, then we're going to do what Kanye wants to do.
yeah,
You know.
that's how I feel with it as well. You know, so you know if it happened, it happened.
Yeah.
We'll see, but you know, I prefer it not to. Just 'cause I just think he'd be just a little too emotional for the
Yeah.
role.